1. This is page 5, and then the title is How Many Triangles Do You See? So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this in our journal. If you don't have this, then you can just draw it. I gave this to you in class, but if you have lost it or don't have it now, then I'm recording, by the way. So it's just recording the screen. So we are going to talk about how many triangles there were. Now I think everybody who did this activity on day 2 was able to see the 16 individual these small triangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number them. So if you'll do the same thing. And then if you remember on day 3, I had people come up here and they pointed them out. They kept count. I marked them. So we have at least 16 of these triangles. So hopefully remember doing that in class or when you had the ticket out, the exit ticket. Now we have 16 of these kind. And somebody then after that group came up here, then another group came up here who saw 17 triangles. So can anyone remind me where's the 17th triangle? Yeah, so this one. So we have 16 of the individual that I just numbered. Then we have 17 that kind of comprises the whole thing. So what I would like to do is to be able to write it down in a way that tells them apart. So that way, if you're talking about this one, you don't say small, and then someone else talks about this one, says medium, and then kind of big, and then really big. Like there needs to be something to for sure tell them apart. So someone's like, oh, I thought when you said small, I thought you were talking about this one. No, I was talking about this one. So how can we tell like this one, the one, apart from this one without saying big, small? What's something we can do to tell them apart? Like everybody would be like, okay, I know what you're talking about. I can't argue with that and say, well, no, that's a small one. That's a big one. How can we tell them apart? Like if you came in here, for example, there's a number on the desk, right? I don't say like, oh, like you're going to sit on this side, like find the desk. And then I'm like, no, not that desk. There's like a number on the desk, right? Like these have numbers on the triangles. So you know for sure you can't be confused and say, oh, well, I didn't know this was 7, but it says 7 on your desk. So what can we call them to tell them apart? And you go buy shoes, like you have the size, right? Everyone has like, if someone could buy the same pair as you, but you don't want to say, okay, no, my foot's bigger than hers, or this and this, and my foot's smaller. You have like a shoe size, so you know for sure, okay, I'm a 6 or I'm an 8. So, for example, for this triangle, does everyone see the 1? Everyone see the 1? If we say, hello, Mariana. I'm recording this for later, but come on in and place it at number 6. Okay, so for example, if I say this is what we do in math to kind of to give things like measurements. So if we say this is 1 unit, and so then the entire thing would be how many units for the big triangle? How many units would that be? Yeah. So this, you could say this small one, this right here, would be 1 unit long. 1 unit long triangle. We're on page 5. And so what we're gonna stop calling the big triangle would be how many units long? Yeah, 4 units long. So I'm trying to get you to realize that when you have a measurement, Anita, can you pick this up for me? Oh, this is what we're putting on page 5. We're going to page 5. So if we can hopefully have a measurement, we can tell them apart. Everyone will know for sure which ones we're talking about. Okay, so from there, then we got to 17, and then from there we got to, I forgot who came up next, because all the classes were different. Somebody came up next, bless you, and then did this triangle. That was like, we were at like 18 with this one, so I'm just gonna put a 1 by this one. Then we did this one. That was 2, 3, then this one was 4. So I'm gonna mark them up here so you can hopefully see them. Can anyone see any others of this size right here? So do you see this yellow one right here? How long is this one? So again, yeah, 2 units. This is 1, 2 units. So does anyone else see any more 2-unit triangles? If you want to tell me the number of the triangle, I put them in there so you can tell me what number. Anybody else see any more 2-unit triangles? Then the yellow ones I have marked. Say again. 5 to 10. Say again. 5. This one? This one? Okay, yeah, I marked that one. So right now I have 4. I have 1 up here, 2, 3, and then 4. And yes, tell me. 5 to 7. Okay, does everyone see what Alexia's talking about? Okay, so now we have 5. Any other ones? 4, 4, 7, 1, 9. Yes. Okay, so now we're up to 6. Any other ones? 7, 12, 14, and 7. Any other ones? So we have the yellow ones that I started with, then we have the green ones. Any other ones? This is for 2 units. 2-unit long. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, sold to 7. Okay, so we see 7 of that kind. Now the last kind, so we did 1 unit, we did 2 unit, we did 4, so now we're missing the 3 unit. So if you're not sure, I'll mark it with a different color. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So this is what I mean by 3 units. So if we say this is 1 unit, this would be 2, this would be 3. So then we can make a triangle right here. Okay, that would be 1. Anybody else see any other 3-unit triangles? That's 2. That's the one you meant, right? Any other ones? Someone maybe besides Derek and Alexia? Any other 3-unit triangles? Yeah. Okay, so then that's 3. Any others? 3 unit, or if you need to go back and say, wait, I see a 2 unit that I didn't say before. Okay. All right, so 3 unit long triangles. All right, so then if we add them all up, our total is 27 total triangles. Okay, so this is evidence. This is, you're able to tell me exactly how you got 27. You're able to tell me exactly what type. You can be able to articulate it in a way that everybody would understand. Okay, it's 1 unit. That means it's 1 unit long. And someone wouldn't be like, well, I wonder which one's the small one, which one's the big one. You make that very clear. All right, so why did we do this activity? So the point is to introduce you to geometry as the visual math. So geometry is going to be a very visual you're going to have to be able to see things. And so hopefully this introduces you to hopefully be able to kind of look at something maybe twice. People like to describe geometry like a puzzle, like solving a puzzle. You need to see so much, know so much to be able to solve it, and you kind of put it together. So that's the first part. And then hopefully it's getting you to see that if you have strategies, they'll help you be able to see all 27 triangles. Okay. You don't have that, maybe like when people came up here and helped you, maybe after you saw like, oh yeah, that does make a triangle. And then hopefully this gets you to realize why we need proofs, because we're going to be doing proofs in here. Proofs is like evidence, just in a very like mathematical way that other people could understand what you're doing. So that's why we do this. It's to introduce you to geometry, basically. So you can see it's a visual math. Hopefully you are noticing that you had to use some strategies. And then hopefully to get you to realize why we need proofs. Why you need to know for sure something is the way it is. And so what about some strategies? So if you didn't see 27 on the first day, then, and you do now, well, something happened. And so can someone tell me what's something that you did that helped you be able to see the 27 triangles now? It's kind of what I asked you on the do now. When people came up here and you didn't see all 27, what did they do to help you be able to see them? Did it help anyone? Raise your hand. Did it help anybody for people to come up here and show you? Like one, okay, help people. So maybe like if you had a different perspective. Did it help anybody once we started talking about, okay, this one's 2 units, this one's 3 units? Did that help anybody be able to see more of them? Okay. When you came up here, did it help that we started labeling or we put numbers by it? Did that help anybody? When I started putting little numbers by the smaller triangles, the 1 unit triangles, okay. So label with numbers. Okay, did the colors help anyone when I started using different colors? Some of you, I can see that you're doing that now. Okay, so those were some strategies. Now, the whole point of, we're going to talk a lot about evidence and proofs in here. So the whole point of the evidence is that you're able to prove something. If you say there's 27 triangles, this is so that you're able to prove it. Oh no. So that you can define the different parts. That really, really helps. So that if you tell me exactly what kind of triangles, like, okay, 1 unit, I know exactly what you're talking about. So it's really helpful when you have measurements and like some type of number with your evidence, so that others cannot argue with you or not be sure or not know what you're talking about. So that's why evidence is really important, and that needs to be part of your evidence later as we do different activities in here. Okay, so please make sure you have this copied. You will eventually have to take a picture of it, send it to me on Remind for a grade. So if you're not doing that right now in class, you'll just have to do it later. That's why I'm recording. And